Hi, good afternoon. This is Katie Quigley, whom you already know. She's going to give us a presentation on concussion awareness and also ways of how to fall without causing extra damages to our bodies and to our brain, which is the largest muscle in our body. Katie suffered a very significant concussion last year, and since then has been acutely aware of how to present to other people. This is in a part of her Gold Award for Girl Scouts, where she'll be doing a presentation and doing awareness training as well. And so please give her your attention and welcome Katie Quigley.
You guys know me, so thank you for your time today. This presentation is my Girl Scout Gold Award project. I chose today to make this my first presentation because September 15th is Concussion Awareness Day. It's held on the third Friday of each September. Okay, let's get started. I'm Katie Quigley, you know that. I'm a senior here at Project Henry High School. Last year, I played field hockey lacrosse. During a field hockey game on September 21st, 2022, I collided with another player and suffered a concussion. I spent four months in physical and cognitive therapy. I chose this as my project because, first, I didn't know how to deal with a concussion when I had it, and I wish I had the knowledge then that I do now. I wish I had a better support system from the beginning to the end of my concussion. My support system didn't know how to help me, and I wish I could have told them how they could have helped me at that time. My friends didn't know how to act around me at school or at practice, and it was very hard to even come to school some days or to even make it out to practice. I think I made it out to practice like twice. I feel like it was twice. I didn't make it out very much because I could barely make a 3-second walk. Concussions are more likely in men's sport. The sports that are most likely to have concussion is football, wrestling, ice hockey, and soccer. And in girls' sports, it's soccer, field hockey, cheerleading, and lacrosse. 1 in 5 high school athletes will experience concussion. 1 in 10 football players will have a concussion this season. The NCAA study, for every 1,000 games and practices, female soccer players sustain 2.2 concussions and male soccer players sustain 1.4. There is a gender gap in concussion research. More is done on male athletes than female athletes because this is the society we live in. Our concussion test. You've all taken it. Do you like it, or do you think it's a waste of time? You can say
Waste of time.
you think it's a waste of time. I'm going to tell you how it's not a waste of time. How do I explain this? Here, I'll show you this first. So this is a passing concussion test. This is what Garrett will see after you've taken your test. See how they're all green? That is a passing concussion test. This was my concussion test. You see there's like 10 green out of like 50. It was, when I saw that, it was very hard for me to see. It was hard. That's what I gotta say. Yeah. The myths about concussions. Most people say you have to hit your head or be knocked unconscious in order to have sustained a concussion, but that's not true at all. Many concussions occur without direct contact to the head. They're caused by a rotational force or accelerations. The head whips to one side and the brain shifts inside the skull, bruising when it bangs against a hard rigid surface or being stretched to the point of injury. Many people think you're fully recovered from a concussion in 2 to 3 weeks. That's for like the basic, a basketball hit my head, I have a concussion. But when I sustained my concussion, Garrett wasn't at the game, and I didn't have any medical professionals checking me out for even a suspicion of a concussion. And I ended up going right back in and playing another quarter, which is another 15 minutes. and that 15 more minutes caused me to stay in cognitive therapy for another 45 days. Also, so this is what your brain is like right now. There's nothing happening, your brain's chilling. And then when I fell, I went like this. My brain went like this. You see that everything moved around, your brain is jumbled up? That's what happened to my brain when I sustained my concussion. 53% of people who suspect they have a concussion never get it checked out. 1 in 2 concussions are usually ignored, and they just make it 110 times worse. 7 in 10 parents would take their child to see a doctor for suspected concussion. 84% of people believe that athletes are most at risk for a concussion, but only 3% of concussions that present to the ER are sports related. 56% of people think you have to hit your head to sustain a concussion, but concussions can result from a sudden jolt to the body as well as a hit to the head. Prevention. The ways to prevent a concussion are limited but still there. Neck strengthening exercises and how to fall correctly are important. New research shows that neck strengthening and size and posture of the athlete play a role in concussion prevention. A strong neck means the head doesn't move as much when there is an impact. Females often have less developed neck muscles than males. Athletes who fall properly, which is a tuck and roll, reduce the impact on their bodies. There is no time to think, so falling properly must become a habit. And I will show you how to do all that after this is done. Now, the next strengthening exercises. So there's up and down. What's that? Side to side.
Oh, that's this.
Oh, this one.
Look at your handout.
What?
Look at your handout. The handout with the exercise.
You didn't put it.
Other handout.
Oh. Okay, so there's this one, and then you're gonna go like this. And then there's the prone cobra, which is kind of like, you know those like tests in middle school in PE where you like have your arms under, you lay on the mat, you have your arms under here and you kind of like go up. You do that, but you have to tuck your chin like this and see how long you can hold it. When you have a concussion, you usually have whiplash with it, so it's a lot harder than it used to be. And the wall press, which is you stand against the wall with your head and back against the wall and your shoulders pulled back. You press the back of your head against the wall and hold for 1 second. Relax and you repeat it 10 times. I did this, but with like a flat like volleyball at the back of my head against the wall, so it like put like, my neck had to be stronger for it to hold up the volleyball. Does that make sense? Again, there's tuck your chin, and when you're falling, you're going to want to think momentum when you fall, or you're going to think roll, and your momentum's going to keep you going. And you're going to get back on your feet, and then there's falling backwards versus falling forwards. This is falling forward. Keep that. One more time. You get what she's doing. So when she's going, we're also going to do this in the wrestling room after this. Kind of go like this. You're going to put your arm down, and your head's just going to like tuck under your knee, and you're just going to take your momentum with you. Okay? And then they're falling backwards. Which is So when you fall backwards, your head kind of like goes like this. So with this, you put your arms out so your shoulders and your neck are stronger, so that your arms can hopefully connect with your neck to hopefully stop your head from ever bouncing on the ground. Does that make sense? It's important to be evaluated by a medical professional or two to confirm that you have a concussion. When in doubt, sit it out. In a study of 500 kids, the kids who played an extra 15 minutes after receiving a concussion spent an extra 45 days in recovery. I am not a medical professional. I am thinking from my experience and what I have learned from it and the research I have done. And then there's something called the Melon Pledge. Half of people who suspect they have a concussion never get it checked, which can lead to ongoing health challenges. Unlike broken bones, collisions aren't visible. So concussions aren't visible. So it's even more important to keep an eye out for ourselves and each other. We're asking people to help spread the word by taking the #Melon Pledge. Taking the pledge just takes 2 steps, but we're not doing that. The basic concussion instructions. So you're going to want to reduce all your screen time and all your watching TV, watching TikTok, scrolling through Instagram, doing Snapchats. These lights are especially pain in the butt. I wore sunglasses for 4 months, 3.5 months here. Who here has when you're in class and your teacher's having a lecture and they get really into it, so they get really loud. You know how, say you have a headache at that time, how much worse does that make you feel? Does it make you feel a lot worse? That's pretty much how I felt in every single one of my classes. Because every single one of my classes, we had a lecture every single day. And it was awful. Make sure you get plenty of sleep. It's literally the only thing you can do, and it helps so much because that's when your brain can try to fix itself just a little bit at a time. Take a walk. You're stuck inside all day. You're stuck in the dark. You don't want to do anything, but you also want to do something. The easiest thing is just take a walk. Walk to your mailbox. Get the mail. Walk your dog. Anything like that. And when you're dehydrated, you have a headache usually. Imagine having a concussion headache on top of a dehydration headache, on top of a light headache, on top of a lecture headache. That's 5 right there, right? That is so hard. So just make sure you hydrate, plenty of sleep, avoid loud noises, avoid the bright lights, reduce your strain. And then what the concussed athlete should know. The injury is not visible. People will not understand that, and you just need to realize that and accept it. There is no splint, wrap, sling, or brace that can correct this injury. It just takes time. There is nothing you can do to speed up your recovery. Make sure you stay hydrated and eat well. Make sure you avoid screen, as directed by your doctor. Find activities you might enjoy that don't use extra stimuli. At first I took up coloring, but that just kind of got boring. And then I found out that I could read paperback books. Before my concussion, I didn't read. I hated reading. Now, I love reading. It's the thing that I do when I need to calm down. I read before I go to bed. I read for pleasure. It's changed a lot for me. What the concussed athlete's parents should know. Again, this injury is not visible. It's especially difficult for sports parents who are used to splints, wraps, slings, and braces. Talk to your kid. They are hurting and they are confused just as much as you are. Your child will want to sleep a lot. Let them. This is when the brain recuperates and recovers. Doctors will not be able to tell you when your child will be healed because they can't predict how bruised and how bruised your brain is from looking at you. You could have a concussion. I wouldn't know that. Sorry, Haley. The things you can do to help. Make sure they're drinking their water. Make sure they're eating well. Don't let them go downstairs and have a Nutella sandwich for lunch. Make them like a ham and cheese sandwich. That's better than a Nutella sandwich. Peanut butter and jelly, that's also better as protein. A smoothie, anything like that. Do not let them drive. Driving involves a lot of visual and auditory stimulation. Just don't let them drive. What the coach should know. What the concussed athlete's coach should know. Again, this injury is not visible. The athletes want to return to play as soon as possible. The doctor/trainer determines when the athlete can return to play. Concussions can be emotionally difficult for the athlete. They may appreciate a heart-to-heart conversation. Encourage teammates to create contact and keep the concussed athlete involved. Those of you who were on the team last year, well, Madison, Illy, Mia, Farah, that's it. You guys reached out, and it brought me, I was like having a really bad day that day. Maddie also reached out that day. It was a really bad day. Once you guys reached out after practice, it was a nice pick-me-up. It felt really nice to know people were actually worried about me and not just like, oh well. So it felt really nice to have that heart-to-heart conversation. Just make sure you check in on them. It'll make their day 110% better. Involve the athlete in practice as they are able, conducting drills, teaching skills, correcting mistakes. It may be difficult for the concussed athlete to ride on a loud bus with the team. Last year, I didn't ride on the bus. My mom took me everywhere, literally everywhere. To school, home from practice, home from school early, to games, doctor's appointments, and anywhere and everywhere. What the athlete's teammates should know. Again, this injury is not visible. Reach out to your teammate and ask how they're feeling. They need to feel included. Involve your teammate in team bonding. Understand that your teammate wants to return to play as soon as possible, even though they can't, and it hurts them so much. Understand that recovery cannot be rushed. If you rush it, you're likely to either get another concussion and make it 100 times worse. Concussions can be a very isolating experience. Be a good friend and don't talk about them behind their back. They're already going through enough. Don't make it any worse. What the concussed athlete's teachers need to know. This injury is not visible. The student doesn't want to miss class time, but they may have to. The student doesn't want to fall behind in their work, but they may have to miss assignments. Fluorescent lights and loud sounds, like the lectures, fire drills, class change bell, all of you guys typing your essays all at once, can cause a headache or make an existing headache so much worse. The student may need accommodations, such as reduction of assignments, alteration of assignments, and modifications to tests. Example, last year, Miss Bruce, the art teacher, turned out the overhead lights for me so I could enjoy my class without sunglasses. She had like those little stickers on the window so like you couldn't see through the window. You know what I'm talking about? So she had those, and she turned off the lights so I could like do art without my sunglasses, which is so nice because like everything wasn't dimmed by the sunglasses. And then Mr. Smith modified all like my essays and stuff. He let me do a lot of like the vocab quizzes oral, which is really nice. Mr. Bland also let me take oral tests, which is nice. And Miss Sheely escorted me outside before all the plant fire drills. What the concussed athlete's classmates should know. The injury is not visible. You see a trend there? Concussed students may need accommodations from the teacher. They are not seeking special treatment. The last thing they want is more attention. They don't want attention, I promise you. A concussion can be a very isolating experience. Be a good friend. Don't talk about them behind their back. Knowing that bright lights and loud sounds can give the student a headache or make an existing headache so much worse. Offer to share notes, work on assignments together, and study for tests together. After missing lectures, which I missed quite a few, it's helpful to have a study buddy, someone in that class that could take notes for you and then give it to you when you could come back. It was so nice to have that when I couldn't be at a lecture. So you think you've recovered. Post-concussion syndrome. You usually have an ongoing headache, a little bit of dizziness, You will have problems concentrating and problems remembering. PTSD. This one's a big one for me because PTSD is what's keeping me off the field hockey field right now, and I probably won't step back on it because of my PTSD. Some studies show that athletes with ADHD have an increased risk of a concussion. Some studies show that a future concussion is more likely after a first concussion. These are my sources. We have like the CDC, Concussion Awareness Now, and then we have Sheltering Arms. Sheltering Arms is where I spent my 4 months in cognitive therapy. They were amazing. I had like 6 or 7 therapists, but they all did what they needed to do. It was absolutely amazing. Final thoughts. Concussions are an invisible injury. People who suffer them aren't. Teens who have had a concussion are more than 3 times as likely to suffer from depression. Any questions? No? I was expecting at least one. Okay. I would like to thank Coach McGraw for his support and his technical assistance with creating my website. I would like to thank Mr. Garrett and Ms. Alveda, the trainer at Mechanicsville, for their support and experience. I would like to thank Dr. Kelly Calandra at Sheltering Arms for all her support, both with my therapy and with my project. To show my appreciation for your time today, I have treats for you. And attached to each baggie is my business card. There's a QR code to my website, which has the information I presented to you today. Okay, I'm done. There's one more thing. You can clap. We would like a group picture, please.